Hey there, fellow wanderers. You find yourself enveloped in the bone-chilling embrace of a Mongolian snowstorm. The air hums with the sound of wind howling fiercely across the open steppe, its icy fingers reaching into the very depths of your core. You can almost smell the crispness of the snow as it blankets the ground, muffling any hint of sound, leaving only the whisper of each flake joining its fallen kin. Darkness encroaches, wrapped around you like the heavy furs of a warrior long since vanished into history. This is not a fairy tale. It's a dance between the relentless Mongol Empire and the formidable winter landscape it traversed. So before we dive deeper, I ask only this. If this kind of raw, unvarnished truth speaks to you, click like, hit subscribe, and leave a trace of yourself in the comments. Tell me your city, your time, your state of mind. Now, dim the lights. Let the hum of your fan blend with the wind of centuries past. Let's begin. And remember, in medieval times, even survival was a luxury. With that warmth of anticipation nestled in your thoughts, you trudge along the windswept path of history. Picture the early 13th century, where Genghis Khan, arguably one of the most remarkable figures in world history, casts a long shadow over the land, his empire sprawling across continents. The Mongol Empire seemed unstoppable, swallowing vast swathes of territory with extraordinary speed and precision. Yet, one opponent always remained, one that even the Mongol war machine couldn't simply outpace or outfight: the harsh Mongolian winter. As you march alongside these legendary warriors, their towering silhouettes stark against the white horizon, you can feel the pulse of ancient power. Imagine their camp pitched beneath the star-strewn sky, where the ground crunches with each step in the biting cold. Here's a group of people for whom a tent could spring up in mere moments, transforming from cloth and pole to a fortress against the night's chill. The scent of kumisa fermented mare's milk, if you can believe that, lingers in the air, a reminder of the nomad's resilience and resourcefulness. Yet, the winter is not just a setting to be survived. For the Mongols, it is a battleground in its own right. The snowstorm howls in your ears, its force chaotically unpredictable, much like the strategies of Genghis Khan himself, a man who famously said the supreme joy of his life was to vanquish his enemies and take their horses. Well, that joy was often tested by weather as capricious as the tactics of any rival Khan. Historians still argue whether the Mongols' success in these conditions was due to their adaptability or their superior strategy. However, there's no denying that their ability to keep moving when most would falter was legendary. Picture soldiers wrapped snugly in layers of furs, each luxurious strand a testament to the spoils of conquest, marching onwards through blizzards that might freeze lesser men in their tracks. A lesser-known tidbit, and one I find particularly intriguing, is how the Mongol forces would sometimes use snowstorms to their advantage. When the wind blew fiercest, and powder whipped across the land in blinding fury, the Mongols would charge hidden by nature itself. Imagine the shock on the faces of their enemies as these ghostly riders emerged suddenly from the swirling snow, turning the storm from an impediment into an ally. As you delve further into the narrative, you start to feel the enormity of the environment, nature playing an ever-present role on this historic stage. The very idea of warm fires becomes a comfort, a precious commodity rather than a given. You sense the essence of reliance upon horses, those steadfast companions, their breath steaming in the frost, representing survival amidst the chaos of blizzards. Each flake of snow that lands on your skin is a delicate resonance of the struggle, beauty, and awe that this empire evoked in the hearts of their contemporaries. Although time-distance realms stand between you and these ancient warriors, their legacy persists in this cold embrace, like a snowflake's intricate web glistening in the spotlight of the moon. Through this lens, you can't help but marvel at the Mongol Empire's resilience. Each snowflake, each harsh wind blast, bore witness to their indomitable spirit. Imagine them, traversing these treacherous lands with a grit that defied the elements, rivals, and time. So, tonight, as you close your eyes and drift into dreamland, let the echo of their story, knit together with the gentle lull of a winter storm, carry you into a deep, peaceful slumber. Sweet dreams, indeed. Venturing further into the snowy landscapes, you accompany the relentless expansion of the Mongol Empire. The awe-inspiring vision of Genghis Khan's conquests stretches out before you, painting a picture of a realm that grew with the swiftness of a winter storm. From the rolling steppes of Mongolia, the empire widened its gaze toward China, Central Asia, and even to the edges of Europe, creating an incredible tapestry of power and culture despite the ever-present barrier of nature. Picture the scene: a vast expanse of white under an expansive sky, where the whispers of 1,000 stories blend with the sound of crunching snow underfoot. The air is crisp and sharp, each breath you take reminding you of the harsh beauty that often defines Mongolian winters. It's a setting that tests even the bravest souls, the kind that etches their legends into the very terrain over which they travel. At the heart of these conquerors is a paradox. While they were feared for their ruthlessness, it was often the natural world that proved to be their greatest opponent. As much as the Mongols might have seen themselves as masters of the world, Mother Nature occasionally reminded them otherwise. I mean, can a human's ego ever truly withstand the force of a true blizzard? Probably not. Among the empire's accomplishments, there's a mainstream historical fact to note. Thanks to Genghis Khan's ingenious leadership and innovative tactics, the Mongol Empire became the largest contiguous land empire in history. That's right, bigger even than Alexander the Great's or Napoleon's empires. It's a fact that sends shivers down your spine like a cold northern wind. Imagine creating pathways that seamlessly connect the east and west, despite the snowbound challenges of a hostile environment. However, there is an intriguing tidbit lurking beneath these grand achievements. The empire's swift expansion wasn't just due to superior military skill. It was often accelerated by the ability to exploit the disunity among its enemies. The chaotic political landscapes they encountered were akin to blizzards of human ambition, easily divided and conquered. The Mongols were maestros of divide-and-conquer strategy that thrived amidst the stormy conflicts of others. It's not unlike realizing that the best way to deal with a pile of holiday gift wrap is to unleash a pair of scissors and start cutting away. As you walk alongside these nomadic conquerors, you're struck by the practical elegance of their society. For example, despite the tendency of snow to hinder progress, the Mongols developed ingenious ways to traverse these endless stretches of winter. Their horses were adept at moving across packed snow, much like a childhood memory of sledding down a velvet slope, swift and seemingly effortless. Historians still argue over the exact nuances behind their success. Was it sheer luck, wise leadership, or perhaps the symbolic union with the elements? Regardless, their legacy is etched into the frozen testament of history. Gazing upon this white-shrouded empire, you sense the depth of their mastery over survival and expansion, akin to building sandcastles in shifting dunes, only this time made of ice and stone. And amidst all this grandeur, you can't help but linger on the humanity within it. Imagine the pride of soldiers returning from distant campaigns, laden with the spoils of victory, feet stomping rhythmically against the snow as they approach flickering campfires lined with family and friends. Such camaraderie warms you more than any fur-lined garment could, emphasizing that while the snowstorms shaped the logistics of warfare, they also sculpted the unity of those who shared its trials. So, as you continue your stroll through the epic saga of the Mongol Empire, feel the icy tendrils wrapping around history itself, binding the stories of survival, triumph, and the inevitable interplay between mankind and nature. Perhaps it's in these intimate encounters with the past that you find a hint of warmth in the cool shadows of snow like a twinkling fire nestled within the great yurt of time. As you venture into the realm of the nomadic Mongols and their reality of bone-chilling winters, a world unfolds where life is a testament to sheer resilience and ingenuity in existence, shaped by nature's stark demands. Imagine yourself among these nomads, living in a landscape so demanding that each day feels like a dance on the edge of survival. The shoulders of the steppe are draped in white, the ground beneath it solidly frozen, as the merciless winter tests every inhabitant with its icy breath. The first thing you would notice is the sound. The wind doesn't just whistle here, it howls, a wild cry that pierces the stillness, offering no gentle lullabies, only the stark reminders of the vast emptiness around you. The Mongols, masters of adaptation, face this challenge head-on, steeped in the traditions of survival passed down through generations. You can almost smell the smoke of fires burning inside their yurts, fuming pits of endurance that turn vulnerability into shelter. The hot, smoky aroma works its way into your senses, a stark contrast to the frozen world outside. In this enigma of frozen landscapes, you witness the daily life of a Mongol family. The jur, a circular structure built for speedily packing up and moving across the land, stands as both a home and a fortress against the relentless winter. Inside, the world is a spectrum of warmth and scent feasting on air, thick with the smell of rich broth simmering over a central hearth. It's a space where stories are shared, strategies are devised, and life continues in defiance of the cold outside. A mainstream historical fact pinning this existence is the high mobility that epitomized Mongol life, an essential element in their historic conquests. Their ability to pack up and move with unparalleled speed allowed them to exploit the vulnerabilities of slower, more stationary foes. It's an attribute deeply rooted in their culture, an elegant dance of harmony with the migratory demands of the seasons. The Mongol lifestyle, mobile and resilient, often caught their enemies off guard, turning the vastness of the steppes from a barren wasteland into an ally. Now, in perhaps a more curious tidbit, let's turn our gaze to the diet that sustained these formidable people. Drinking kumis, the fermented mare's milk mentioned earlier, was a staple. The sour tang of this drink, surprisingly refreshing and nourishing, symbolized sustenance in the harshest of times. It's a beverage that would turn most modern taste buds with its pungency, yet served as a lifeline in frozen climes, packed with nutrients needed to endure the lengthy, freezing nights. Historians still argue whether its production was more out of necessity or cultural preference. The Mongols existed in a delicate balance of taken and given, reaping the bounties of their land while ensuring every resource was utilized to the fullest. Even your skin feels the chill that persists outside, reminding you that these skills-building fires, finding food, taming the cold were not just learned but honed to survivalist perfection. Picturing all this, it becomes clear that adaptation is at the heart of Mongol success, both soldiers and civilians alike. Their way of life was an ongoing tutorial in resilience, showing you how yak wool garments hold warmth, how dried meat can be rehydrated into sustenance, and how the embrace of a gur can fend off the night's chill. Each strategy speaks to the ingenuity of a people who made an art form out of necessity. So here, in this narrative tableau of nomadic life, amid winds that carve tales into the snow, you're left to consider the art of surviving and thriving against all odds, of making the winter an ally, not just an adversary. And as you let this wisdom seep into your own notion of resilience, remember that sometimes survival is not just a grudging acceptance of conditions, but an opus of harmony and endurance with the primal world around you. Amidst the swirling snow, your attention shifts to the battle-hardened strategies that allowed the Mongol Empire to flourish, even when the landscape became a frozen adversary. The air feels charged with the tension of an army on the move, each step an echo of calculated maneuvers that stretch across both time and territory. Here, every soldier is a testament to the adaptability and cunning that defined Mongol warfare elements that thrived even when faced with the biting chill of winter. As you join these fighters in their relentless march, picture the tactile sensations of cold steel against skin, the soft rustling of furs layered for warmth, a blend of practicality, and the meticulous engineering of survival. The wind brings a flurry of memories, each one carrying stories of battles won against odds stacked higher than snowdrifts. In this icy theatre of war, where footprints vanish as soon as they're made, the ground becomes both battleground and ally. Consider the ingenious tactics deployed, chief among them the feigned retreat, a trademark of Mongol warfare. You can visualize it now. The army appearing to fall back, chaos seeming to beckon, pulling their foes into an eager, disorganized pursuit right into waiting traps. It's a technique as crafty and sudden as the weather, a testament to the Mongols' understanding of psychological warfare, no doubt influenced by their intimate knowledge of the landscape itself. Here is your mainstream historical fact. Such strategies were executed with precision, often determining the outcome of battles long before swords clashed or arrows flew. On a quirkier note, the Mongols also employed something akin to biowarfare by using weather conditions. When snow kept other armies tucked away, the Mongols pressed on, timing their attacks to coincide with winter storms that cloaked their advance. Their movements were as silent and lethal as the snowfall itself, an advantage contrasted by the awkward clanging of less prepared enemy forces, as comical and panicked as deer on ice. It's an open scholarly debate whether the Mongols deliberately chose to campaign during harsh seasons as a psychological tactic or simply because their nomadic upbringing made them indifferent to the cold. Historians continue to debate if their timing was an ingenious military strategy or a byproduct of circumstance. Either way, the results were devastatingly effective. Amid these tactics and battles, you glimpse the camaraderie of warriors huddled around fires, sharing the warmth of stories as much as the heat of the flames. You hear their laughter rise like steam into the cold air, a stark contrast to the harsh reality that awaits each sunrise. The camaraderie is palpably a shared resilience amid the relentless winter, each soldier an essential thread in the fabric of their empire. Yet underneath the strategic brilliance and the force of numbers lay another layer, one woven from practical wisdom and experience. It's clear now as you listen to the crackle of the campfire, the strategies whispered among leaders, they were not merely the product of martial ambition, but the fruit of generations living at nature's mercy. An understanding as deep as the endless white expanses they crossed. So, as you stand at the crossroads of tactic and nature, immersed in the chill but warmed by the knowledge of their resilience, let your thoughts drift alongside these enduring warriors. Their march is your lullaby, a rhythm as timeless as the shifting seasons, echoing through the snows of Timar, reminder that sometimes the mightiest victories are those that are whispered across the snowdrifts. It's in this persistence, this dance with nature's icy breath, that the Mongols achieved supremacy, crafting a narrative as enduring and unpredictable as the winter winds. As the story progresses, your focus sharpens on the meticulously designed clothing and shelter that enabled the Mongols to withstand and thrive amidst hostile winter conditions. Here, amidst the fluttering snowflakes, you catch sight of the ingenuity and craftsmanship at play, not just in battling their enemies, but in confronting the raw edge of nature itself. Each choice of material and design is a note in a symphony of survival, played out in the echo of history's snow-clad stage. Picture yourself enveloped in the warmth of a Mongol warrior's attire. Layer upon layer of expertly crafted garments wrap around you. Supple hides and soft furs, intertwined to create an ensemble that speaks not only of warmth, but of a cultural heritage woven with the threads of resilience. Feel the subtle textures under your fingertips, the gentle toughness of leather, the plush caress of finely woven wool, each piece serving its purpose in the battle against the cold. While bronze and steel might have won the battles, it's the unsung heroics of felt and fur that supported them. The mainstream historical fact is that the Mongol Empire's reach might not have extended as far without these vital components. Their clothing was a marvel of both practicality and resourcefulness, brilliantly designed to capture heat and protect against the biting wind, much like the overlapping scales of a dragon mythic creatures historically revered and symbolized within Asian cultures. Beyond clothing, the iconic Jertho's portable, dome-like tensis, a marvel in its own right. Imagine the inside, warm and welcoming, heated by a central hearth, whose flames flicker like a heartbeat through the layers of felt and skin. The smoke spirals through a small opening at the top, leaving you with the scent of pine wood and scorching embers, a strangely comforting aroma amidst the icy expanse outside. With a structure that can withstand the battering of fierce winds and the weight of heavy snow, the Jer is a testament to Mongol engineering. Here's a quirky tidbit. The Mongol Jer was so ingeniously constructed that it could be erected or dismantled in a matter of hours, a striking parallel to the adaptability of Mongol life. This mobility enabled their armies and families to traverse vast distances, outpacing and overwhelming less adaptable cultures. It's an ancient version of minimalism, where every component has a purpose and nothing is superfluous. Historians still argue whether the success of the Mongols stemmed from their militaristic prowess or their adeptness at environmental adaptation. Their survival strategies seem to blur into their warfare tactics, as inseparable as the snowflakes from the sky. Was their success merely the triumph of superior fighting skills, or did it lie in their unparalleled ability to conquer the elements? And now, as you absorb this tactile immersion into historical survival, picture yourself within that community. Around you are the daily rhythms of life, in a Mongol winter camp. The diligent mending of garments, the gentle clinking of tools as shelters are fortified, the soft murmur of voices sharing warmth as much as tales of past victories. A draught licks the edges of your blanket, and suddenly, you understand in this circle of warmth amidst the cold, a society thrives by embracing what cannot be controlled and mastering what can. Each stitch, each piece of felt, represents more than mere survival. They epitomize a distinctive blend of artistry and necessity, the workmanship of a people whose lives wrote stories upon the tabula rasa of snow, tales not just of conquering empires, but also of endurance against the full force of nature. With these thoughts carrying you into the stillness of the white-draped night, feel the woven legacy of the Mongols, each thread a journey through storms, wrapped tight against the heart of the past, a testament to an empire that understood the nuance of comfort as keenly as conquest. Venturing deeper into the snowy chronicles, you find yourself intertwined with the ambitious trails of Kublai Khan, the famed grandson of Genghis, as he navigates his empire through the biting embrace of winter. The subtle hiss of the snow underfoot and the chilling wind against your cheek set the scene for the grand narrative unfolding in the frosted kingdom of China. Here, in this land merging tradition and icy ambition, Kublai sought to extend upon his grandfather's legacy, striving for conquest even as snowstorms threatened to weave their own plans. In your imagination, you stand amid the bustle and organized chaos of a Mongol camp, where the air is thick with both the excitement and tension of impending battle. Warriors clad in their layers of protective fur and armor breathe steam into the cold air, each exhalation a fleeting wisp of anticipation. In Kublai's realm, every decision had to be weighed against the formidable winter, where snow did not simply blanket the land, it cloaked opportunity, binding together strategy and survival in a seamless narrative of endurance. A mainstream historical fact illustrates this cold reality. During Kublai Khan's campaigns in China, winter not only posed as an unyielding barrier to progress, but also as an asset, with frozen rivers serving as highways for Mongol cavalry. These natural roads, glittering under the pale winter sun, allowed rapid movement otherwise impossible in warmer, mired months. It's almost poetic. The very water that would stymie an army in thaw could later serve as its swiftest conduit. As a quirky twist to these icy exploits, consider the peculiar tactics adopted during these campaigns. One strategy involved using captured herds of goats to trample paths through deep snow, clearing a way for horses and men. Imagine the sight, a procession of beasts matted with ice crystals, forging onward with stolid resolve. It's a scene that echoes the ingenuity embedded in Mongol tradition, leveraging nature itself in a relentless quest for supremacy. Historians still debate whether Kublai truly cherished these winter campaigns, or if he merely tolerated them as a necessary evil. His legacy, however, leaves trailing echoes of victories hard-won amidst the swirling snow, punctuating the era with tales that transcend the cold. Was he driven by a relentless desire for expansion, or by an unyielding ambition to etch his place in history, regardless of the elements? As you immerse yourself in this frosty spectacle, you can't help but admire the quiet resilience that thrived in Kublai's time. Picture the meticulous preparations. Warm furs stacked against the chill, horses shod for icy terrain, warriors' minds as sharp as the frosty air. There's a delicate balance in play, like a finely tuned instrument straining against winter's relentless symphony. In the heart of these preparations lies a question older than the steps themselves. How does one lead when the elements wield as much power as any human foe? In the heart of Kublai's domain, then, the empire turns with the seasons, both shaped and sculpted by the chill of winter's breath. The swirling snow and icy winds dance around fires that flicker defiantly, casting glowing orbs against the darkened yurt walls, a testament to human determination pitted against nature's endless trials. The steel resolve woven through Kublai's campaigns becomes a lullaby, a rhythm beneath the snow's gentle descenter, reminder that even the mightiest rulers must concede to nature's whims. As you contemplate these lessons drawn in ice, may the echoes of horse hooves on frozen ground and the bite of winter's air carry you softly into the night, tracing dreams of the past across the fabric of silence, until all that remains is the warm afterglow of a history written in snowflakes. As your journey continues through the windswept steppes of the Mongol Empire, you become a silent witness to the intricate web of communication that spun its threads far and wide, even amidst unforgiving winters. The howl of the wind contrasts with the clippity-clop of horse hooves on frozen grounder, symphony of movement that never ceased, regardless of how bitterly the snow swirled overhead. This is the story of the Mongolian postal system, a lifeline of information that flowed steadily, no matter how treacherous the path. Imagine yourself bundled against the cold as you stand beside a mounted courier, ready to embark on a journey across frozen rivers and snowbound trails. The air around you crackles with urgency, as each message is a vital piece in the larger puzzle of an expanding empire. This is no ordinary ride. It's a vast network of relay stations, known as the Yama system, so efficient that its remnants still echo in the paradigms of modern communication. A mainstream historical fact is testament to this ingenuity. During its height, the Mongol postal system stretched nearly 4,000 miles from Karakorum, the empire's capital, to the most distant outposts in Russia and beyond. It operated with the rhythm of the seasons, integrating the harsh reality of winter into its very fabric. Unlike more stationary cultures, the Mongols saw icy rivers not as obstacles, but as smooth icy highways that carried their messages at speeds unprecedented for the time. In this vast communication network, you stumble across a quirky tidbit that speaks of innovation born of necessity. Riders were known to carry small bells, their gentle chime serving both as navigation through thick fogs and ways to alert the next relay station of their impending arrival. Picture the gentle tinkling drifting through the snow-laden air, a beacon of continuity in a whitewashed worlder, whimsical yet practical touch to the silent resolve of the Mongolian postal service. Historians still puzzle over whether the efficiency of this system was purely a result of military necessity or if it was equally driven by the desire to foster cultural and economic exchanges. Many scholars suggest that it was both a dual force that propelled the Mongols ahead of their time, a veritable web that transcended mere information delivery, instead becoming a circulatory system for the vast empire. As you ponder the intricate workings of this network, imagine the relay stations like warm pockets of life amidst the vast icy wilderness places where riders could rest, where fires crackled with stories retold with the flair of seasoned troubadours. These oases served not just as logistical hubs, but as melting pots of ideas and cultures, bridging vast landscapes with strands of shared humanity. Envision the riders, their faces chapped and weathered by the winter winds, each one a living testament to the endurance and adaptability of Mongol society. With each handoff of scroll or verbal message, imagine the weight of responsibility he carries, like the hopes of the empire nestled within the fold of his winter coat. In pondering the persistence of these riders, you're drawn to a deeper appreciation for the role this system played, not just in waging wars or consolidating power, but in weaving a complex tapestry of connectivity across the Mongol domain. Messages of diplomacy, letters of love, news of triumph or defeatal traveled this frozen network, painting a vibrant narrative across the monochrome scape of winter. Here, in the quiet of a winter's pause, the legacy of the Mongol postal system unfolds around you, a timeless reminder of humanity's unerring drive to connect, even when the cold would rather keep distances vast. As the wind whispers its final tales along the Yam's invisible trails, let the serenity of this historical current carry you onwards, cradled in the promise of dreams untold and destinations yet discovered. The chill of winter can't quench the warmth of camaraderie and celebration as you find yourself amidst a Mongol feastin, unexpected oasis of revelry in the heart of frigid landscapes. Picture the scene. Inside a grand gur, the air is thick with the mingling aromas of roasted meats and spices, their warmth coiling up like tendrils of comfort against the biting cold outside. The sounds of laughter and chatter form a melody of life, an orchestra of voices rising and falling in lively rounds beneath the low hum of the ever-present wind. You find yourself seated among these ancient revelers, a steaming bowl of freshly cooked lamb or yak in hand. The tender meat melts in your mouth, infused with the subtle tang of seasonings sourced from the far corners of the Mongol Empire. It's a culinary mosaic, where nature's larder meets the spoils of conquest. The texture, The flavor sits as if you're tasting the fruits of centuries-long momentum, each bite a tribute to the empire's vast reach. A mainstream historical fact stands at the center of this tapestry. The Mongol Empire, through its vast trade networks, was responsible for the flourishing of cultural exchange that introduced exotic spices, textiles, and culinary practices across Asia and Europe. Beneath 50 layers of clothing, these exchanges brought more than mere sustenance. They offered a taste of foreign wonders and fueled the expanding horizon of Mongol culture. As platters circulate and goblets clink, revealing another layer of texture and taste, you can't help but notice a peculiar culinary delight. Fermented mare's milk, or airag, prized for its nutrition and intoxicating properties. Its unique, fizzy flavor might be an acquired taste, but it's the drink of choice here, flowing as freely as the shared stories and laughter. It's a glimpse into the resilience and hospitality embedded in Mongol tradition, a culture that found warmth and welcome even in the heart of winter's grasp. Historians still argue whether the exuberance of these feasts was a reflection of triumph over the elements or a deliberate cultural strategy to forge unity among warriors and allies. Some suggest that spreading goodwill and celebrating shared victories was key to securing loyalty across diverse tribes and regions. Whatever the reason, these gatherings became an integral feature of Mongol society, a beacon of warmth against the stark backdrop of the season, binding hearts and spirits in an indomitable tapestry of festivity. As the evening progresses, your senses fill with the vibrancy around you. The touch of the woven carpets beneath, the occasional spark from the central fire that dances up into the chimney, and the rhythmic sound of throat singers weaving music into the air, their tonal stories as evocative as the history written in their melodies. Here, in the gentle flicker of firelight mirrored in watchful eyes and raised cups, you feel the pulse of an empire pulsating through its people. Each song, each story, contributes to an ever-unfolding narrative that claims history as its own. It's a celebration of all that came before, a nod to the challenges faced against nature's fury, and a patient nod to all that lies in wait for the rising sun. As the festivities continue, you can sense a collective resilience, a shared acknowledgement that in the depths of winter, there is an unspoken joy that resides in community, a warmth that defies the chill, a unity that builds bridges across time and space. Here, surrounded by this symphony of life, consider the timeless truth that even in the face of relentless winters, where survival is no passive game but a spirited contention against the cold, joy finds its place. It takes root in the hearts of those who gather together, drawing strength from the times and tears shared, much like you now, an honorary part of this midnight feast, where history and dreams entwine, inviting you into the warmth of its fading glow. Within the shimmering veil of falling snow, the whisper of ancient myths winds its way through the icy landscape, threading tales of Mongolian mythology and the spirits said to inhabit these frost-covered steppes. Close your eyes, and the wind transforms into a murmuring stream of legend and folklore, carrying with it stories as old as the land itself. Here, where reality and myth dance in the shadows of the snowstorm, the spirits of the land linger in the periphery, a divine tapestry of belief that weaves through the lives of the Mongol people, especially during the long, harsh winters. Picture yourself seated amongst wise elders beside the warmth of a crackling fire, its glow casting long shadows in the ger. The ambience is heavy with the scent of burning wood, mingled with the sweet earthiness of crushed herbs, a fragrance that stirs the air with ancestral memory. Stories unfold around you like smoke tales passed from generation to generation, a lullaby for the night's icy chill. In these stories, the Mongolian sky teems with unseen life, a realm where winds carry whispers from the spiritual world. At the core of this narrative lies a mainstream historical fact. Mongolian belief systems combined elements of shamanism and early forms of Buddhism, with a focus on nature's elements: wind, water, fire, and earth as powerful, spiritual entities. These elements weren't just suggestions of power, they were forces exerting influence over everyday life, guiding decisions and offering protection, occasionally wrath. Such beliefs were as ingrained in their worldview as the stars in their vast night skies. Joining this spiritual tapestry, are the enigmatic spirits believed to populate the land, the on-god, guardian spirits associated with individual families, and the many nature deities residing in rivers, mountains, and forests. Imagine these spirits as benevolent companions or mischievous tricksters that wandered through this snowy expanse, playing unseen roles in the lives of those who roamed the steppes. The grown-ups exchange stories of encounters filled with nods, chuckles, or perhaps a little shiver, because, myth or no myth, better to keep an eye out. Here's a quirky tidbit. Among these spirits was Bayan Hangai, thought to be connected to harsh weather phenomena, blizzards, storms, and unpredictable snowfall. The Mongols believed that making offerings of food and drink to such spirits could appease them, ensuring clement weather and effective travel, a belief that tied their spirituality directly to their survival strategies. Imagine the scene. A modest altar, perhaps a patch of ground cleared of snow, where a bit of milk and meat might be left. A humble entreaty for safety and prosperity. Historians still debate the extent to which these spiritual beliefs directly influenced political and military decisions. Whether a Khan sought advice through shamanic rituals before commencing a winter campaign, or if certain policies were guided by the auspices of these ancient spirits, remains a topic of intense scholarly discussion. Some argue that such beliefs were a profound part of their identity, seamlessly integrated into the framework of Mongol life. Surrounded by these enduring myths, you feel an undeniable connection to the ethos of a people who existed symbiotically with both land and spirit. In this quiet interplay of stories that intertwine reality with legend, the landscape transcends mere geography, becoming instead a living stage where the echoes of the past reverberate into the present. The myths melt as snowflakes against your skin, yet there's a comforting permanence in their presence, a timeless echo in the heart of the colder, reminder that the spirit world coexists with the tangible, ever-present, and never quite silent in the depth of winter's hold. In this wintry realm, where history and mythology intertwine, let the whispers of ancient stories guide you gently into the night. Here, the flicker of fire against shadow and snow is not just a light, but a beacon that carries the past into future echoes, gentle nudge, reminding you that even in this ostensibly barren landscape, life brims with mystery untold and spirits unseen, waiting for the unsuspecting heart to awaken to their dance. In the swirling tempest of history and snow, you walk beside the great Khans, their imposing silhouettes visible against the winter's pale canvas. These leaders, giants of their age, both revered and reveled-traversed, a world where political maneuvering and natural elements conspired to shape their reigns. The cold adds a chill of anticipation to your journey, as you delve into how these formidable characters navigated the dual challenges of governance and winter's icy embrasure, testament to human endeavor against nature's indomitable force. Imagine a young Genghis Khan, still known as Temujin, navigating the frozen steppes of Mongolia. Each decision he made seemed as sharp and unforgiving as the icy landscapes he called home. In the cold, pale light, you can almost see the determination etched into every furrow of his brow, revealing the immense responsibility that rested on his shoulders. This was no palace court. Decisions were made against the backdrop of the relentless chill, with the elements constantly reminding him of their presence. Historians frequently cite that one fact remains undeniable: Genghis Khan's incredible ability to unite the disparate Mongol tribes and forge them into a cohesive force that could adapt and thrive, even in the depths of winter. This capability was not merely a military achievement, but also a profound political maneuver. His genius lay in intertwining the fractious politics of the time with environmental mastery, proving that resilience could be the strongest of royal edicts. In the softer shadows of this legend, you find the stories of other Khans, each grappling with the spectre of winter. Kublai Khan, who left an indelible mark on China, faced diplomatic challenges as intricate as the snowflakes falling around him. His winter campaigns were not devoid of intrigue and negotiation, each flake a reminder of the delicate balance between force and diplomacy he had to maintain. An intriguing, if lesser-known, tidbit surfaces in these talisthi. Mongols possessed an astute respect for the unpredictability of winter, often interpreting sudden storms or unusual weather as celestial signs. Such interpretations could sway decisions, color political choices, or serve as omens foretelling the outcomes of vital meetings. It's a touch of the divine amidst the snow, an intersection where superstition and statecraft overlay with the same ease as fur on leather. Amid this historical tapestry lies a scholarly debate. How much did the ecosystem of the steppe influence the political systems of the Mongol Empire? Was there a conscious calculation in every campaign's timing, or were the winters merely a force to be endured? The debate over nature versus strategy continues to tantalize historians, each snowflake a reminder of the fine line between happenstance and intention. The clang and clash of swords in the distance hint at the martial prowess of these leaders, but their political acumen is equally compelling. Picture their councils held in heated gers, each word disappearing into the steam-laden air, their impact only felt in faraway campaigns or courts. In these sacred spaces, the Khans pondered alliances, bargains made over hot, spiced drinks meant to ward off the cold. Here, in the intimate confines of history's fabric, whispers of intrigue and strategy were etched into every shadow of fur and fire. As you visualize these grand leaders within the winter's harsh confines, consider that their reigns did more than birth an empire. They crafted a dynasty, resilient enough to withstand and indeed thrive in the coldest climes. The lessons learned from such trials go beyond mere survival. They speak of adaptation, unity, and the indomitable spirit that arises when humans seek to define their destiny amidst relentless winds. In the soft glow of their legacy, the Khan's shadows linger, casting an enduring light against winter's long night. The tales of their power, wisdom, and cunning, navigating political landscapes as icy as the realm itself, resonate through the Aegis, a reminder of humanity's eternal dance with the forces that seek to shape it. As you draw deeper into this woven chronicle, let the embers of their stories cradle your imagination long into the night, enveloping you in the warmth of an empire built against all odds, a tribute to a legacy etched into the heart of a blizzard. Riding alongside the hardy Mongol warriors, you experience the essential bond between the Mongols and their horses, a relationship as profound as any in the history of humankind. As you traverse the snowy expanses, the intelligent whicker of a horse offers a familiar sound, a comforting melody amid the howling winds and crunching snow, a testament to how these creatures, as reliable as they are, became vital partners in the Mongol campaigns. In the expanse of the steppes, where winter paints the landscape in endless white, both horses and their riders embody resilience and endurance. Imagine the steam rising from their nostrils, mingling with the cold air to form ghostly apparitions against the vast sky, each exhalation a pact between man and beast to conquer the endless cold. The Mongols, noted for their exceptional horsemanship, navigated their horses upon the snowbound expanses with a mastery that afforded them a competitive edge. These horses were not merely tools, they were extensions of their riders, bred for stamina and acclimated to the harsh terrain of the steppes. A mainstream historical fact highlights the profound reliance on these stalwart equines. Each Mongol warrior typically maintained a string of horses, switching between them to keep mounts fresh and conserve their strength for the journey ahead. This strategy allowed the Mongol armies to cover astonishing distances with speed and efficiency, often outflanking slower-moving adversaries. It was a formidable mobility that became a cornerstone of their military successes. As you delve deeper, a quirky tidbit emerges from this equine alliance. In the dead of winter, when sustenance was scarce, Mongol riders were known to drink the blood of their horsa, life-sustaining measure ensured by a small incision in the horse's neck, from which they would draw enough blood to sustain themselves without causing permanent harm. It's a ritual of survival that underscores the deep interdependence between rider and steed, a bond as rich in necessity as it was in trust. Historians still argue whether the vast sway of the Mongol Empire could have been achieved with lesser mounts, or indeed, if it could have extended at all without the unique combination of horse breeds adapted to the unforgiving climate. The debate echoes like a refrain: was it the strength of the Mongol warrior alone, or did the horse's resilience play an equally pivotal role in these legendary conquests? The care and reverence with which the Mongols treated their horses paint a vivid picture of mutual respect. Consider the gentle brushing of manes, the careful attention to hooves, or the lullabies of sweet grasses and grains, shared in moments of respite, played out against the immense backdrop of a winter landscape. Their horses were revered companions, their well-being essential to Mongol life, their contributions celebrated in both song and lore. Now, you find yourself amidst a herd grazing through frost-kissed pastures, the soft crunch of their hooves echoing across the frozen ground. Their warmth radiates against the cold, a living reflection of history's delicate balance and the endurance required to thrive in such an environment. With each beat of their hooves against the hardened earth, you sense the rhythm of this partnership stretching back through the annals of time like a thread to ancient wisdom. In the quiet moments just before dawn, with the world still cloaked in slumber under its thick white blanket, both man and horse rest a communion of breath and heartbeat, wrapped in the certainty of shared purpose. This partnership isn't only a necessity, it's a deep-seated communion that underscores every expedition and every retreat, a constant companion against the stark solitude of winter. As you journey alongside these fierce riders, let their unyielding bond with their horses inspire you. Their strength lies not only in mastery of the battlefield, but also in the spirit of partnership that transcends the cold cruelty of the world outside. Let the story of these enduring alliances lift you into a realm where man and beast move as one, facing the raw hand of winter with a fearlessness born of unity and tradition, a dance, poised and powerful, written upon the endless snow. Venturing across the frozen landscapes illuminated by the pale winter sun, you track the storied paths of the Mongol trade routes, arteries of commerce that pulsed even through the grip of the coldest months. The air tingles with the promise of adventure, and the musky scent of pack animals carrying goods across icebound trails, a testament to the vast network that linked faraway lands with the heart of the Mongol Empire. Here, the Silk Roads become thoroughfares, not just for silk and spices, but for cultures and philosophies, bridging east and west through the chill of a snow-flecked breeze. Picture merchants bundled in layers of fur and leather, their breaths visible in the frigid air as they navigate treacherous routes that crisscross the empire. The faint sound of tinkling camel bells accompanies the crunch of footsteps through snow, a procession moving under endless skies. These traders, undeterred by the perils of winter travel, are driven by the same determination that fuels the empire's quest for expansion, a mirror of Genghis Khan's maxim of seizing the unknown. A mainstream historical fact underscores this narrative. The Silk Road, a pillar of trade connecting Asia to Europe, thrived under Mongol rule. The Pax Mongolica, period of peace instilled by Mongol governance, ensured safe passage across continents, facilitating an exchange as fluid as the rivers threading these icy landscapes. What once were perilous paths became reliable avenues for merchants and diplomats alike, an achievement sending ripples throughout history. But even within this stream of commerce, quirky tales surface, such as the description of ice city markets, where traders set up shop amid the snow. The wares from porcelain to silver, ingots presented in frost-laden stalls, each breath a burst of life in the cold air. Imagine the lively bartering among stalls lined with snow-dusted goods, a blend of tradition and innovation revealed in each transaction. Historians still argue whether the Mongols' imposition of peace across their vast territories was primarily motivated by economic gain or the desire for power and control. Perhaps both ambitions played hand-in-hand, a ballet between necessity and empire building. Nonetheless, the empire's intentional bridging of cultures and peoples through secure and open trade channels cannot be understated, as these routes became passageways for more than mere possessions. In the vivid tapestry of these trade routes, cultural exchanges find fertile ground in the shared warmth of fireside discussions and laughter. Experience the stories traded alongside silks and gemstones, the diplomatic tidings that traveled the same paths as prized fabrics, turning commerce into a melting pot of intellectual and cultural synthesis. Each exchange around a winter fire highlighted the richness of human interaction as much as the value of any material goods exchanged. Consider the season-fueled demand for certain materials, fur and wool from the north mingling with porcelain and tea from the south, a vast web of interdependency brought to life through these pathways. In every market town, merchants from afar share stories of distant lands and exotic locales, a veritable bazaar of languages and customs. This constant ebb and flow of ideas and traditions carves new trails through the snows of the steppes as potently as any physical route. As you meander through the frozen stretches of these ancient highways, feel the temperature rise ever so slightly at the sight of ripe opportunities represented in the barter and exchange. Amid the ebb of commerce and the flow of language and culture, the trade routes live, even in the dead of winter. Let this panorama of human enterprise, so pivotal even in the harshest months, remind you that through the relentless chill of winter and the passage of time alike, the shared warmth of human connection fuels a legacy every bit as enduring as the snow-clad mountains framing your journey. In the muted glow of a winter sun, you find yourself drawn into a world where art and culture flourish amid the pervasive cold, a juxtaposition as vivid as the colors of a winter dawn against the frosted expanse of the steppes. Here, in the heart of the Mongol Empire, creativity and expression thrive, even as the land lies dormant beneath a frozen veneer. The cold, instead of stifling imagination, seems to inspire it, bringing forth a tapestry of art and innovation to match the empire's breadth. Imagine stepping into a Mongol court, warmed by the glow of countless lamps, casting their light onto vibrant scrolls and intricate tapestries. The air within is rich with the fragrance of inks and dyes, mingling with the smoky scent of smouldering wood, a perfumed reminder of the creativity that pulses beneath the empire's surface. As the winter rages outside, creativity flows here, a defiance of the frost that would bind lesser spirits. A mainstream historical fact illuminates this narrative. Under the rule of Kublai Khan, particularly in his Yuan dynasty in China, art and culture were actively fostered. These cultural endeavors were not just flourishes of an empire, but a concerted effort to cultivate a harmonious society, even under the formidable constraints of winter's reign. The result was a flowering of literature, drama, and the visual arts, with influences mingling from across the vast stretches of Mongol-controlled territory. Envision the great artisans laboring over their works, hands moving with practiced precision as they bring to life images of beauty and power. Their creations often depict scenes of natura, fitting muse for a culture so intertwined with its forces. Among these creations, a quirky highlight emerges: the popularity of snow paintings, delicate yet vibrant celebrations of their snowy environs, offering a glimpse into how deeply ingrained the winter landscape was in the Mongol psyche. Historians still debate whether this cultural flourishing was a product of Kublai Khan's patronage alone, or the inevitable fusion of diverse cultures and ideas that the Mongol networks fostered. These discussions serve as a testament to how the transcontinental reach of the Mongols facilitated the exchange of artistic practices and ideals that crossed not only geographic boundaries, but ultimately seasonal ones as well. As you absorb the richness of this artistic bloom, picture the inscribing of tales onto parchment and the resonant thrum of strings from traditional Mongol instruments. In this haven of culture, the harshness of the world beyond the walls seems to melt away, replaced by the lingering beauty of creative expressiona, reflection of both the empire's cultural openness and the resilience required to produce such work amidst adversity. Imagine artisans preparing brightly colored inks using the natural materials they've harvested and refined, a blend of science and artistry coming together in exquisite harmony. Each stroke of the brush and cut of the chisel becomes a narrative unto itself, speaking to the enduring spirit of the people and the awe-inspiring realm they inhabit. It's this enduring spirit that ignites within, capturing and holding a warmth that transcends the penetrating chill outside. Amidst this tapestry of cultural divergence, the creative spirit finds its full expression. The expansive din of creation echoes softly against the tranquility of winter, a whisper of resilience woven into every brushstroke and melody. As day fades to night, leaving the echoes of creativity floating amid shadows, let this enduring dance between the cold structures outside and the flourishing within inspire you. In the quietude of winter, where time seems to slow, let the legacy of Mongol art and culture remind you that even when the world feels dormant, creativity has the power to bring warmth to the spirit and color to the horizon. With each story told, each piece created, the past dreams into the present, proof that while winter might command silence, it also invites reflection, creativity, and ultimately, the promise of renewal. In the stillness of a snow-laden landscape, you find yourself entwined in the spiritual threads that wove their way through the Mongol Empire, a tapestry that blends the tangible with the transcendent. The cold itself seems alive, shimmering with the whispers of shamanic chants and chimes, as religion, particularly shamanism and Buddhism, finds fertile ground even in the depths of winter's hold. Here, amidst the sacred spaces defined by snow and sky, spiritual practices unfold in harmony with the natural world. Imagine the gentle crackle of a ceremonial fire, flickering warmth and light into the circle of worshippers gathered around. Their breaths mingle with the smoke rising into the starlit sky, a conduit to the divine that transcends human time and space. The air vibrates with the rhythmic pulse of a shaman's drum, a heartbeat that echoes through the silence to communicate with the spirits and energies that govern the land. Each beat a call, each pause a listening. At the core of this dialogue with the divine lies a mainstream historical fact. The Mongols practiced a complex synthesis of shamanism and early Buddhism, both faiths woven into daily life with threads of respect for nature and a belief in the interconnectedness of all things. It was a spirituality that thrived on the notion of balance, with each season, each creature, and each human life considered significant threads in the cosmic web. You sense the echoes of these beliefs in the wind itself, a sacred messenger connecting gods and mortals through the chill. There's a unique tranquility in this interplayer space, where faith weaves seamlessly through the tapestry of the natural world, fostering harmony as profound as the snowflakes that silently blanket the earth. As your mind drifts through scenes of ritual and reverence, consider a more novel aspect: the transformation of Buddhist temples into warm sanctuaries during winter. Monks huddled against the cold inside these structures, chanting mantras meant not just as appeals to the divine, but as meditative rhythms, harmonizing life's ebb and flow with the frosts outside. The delicate shimmer of prayer wheels spinning in time with the chilling wind becomes a striking reminder of the resilience at the heart of faith. Historians still argue over how much influence Buddhism, introduced mainly through the Mongol conquests of Tibetan regions, had on traditional shamanic practices. Did the serene philosophies of Buddhism shape the Mongol worldview, or did the primal strength of shamanism subdue the softer spiritual undertones introduced by Buddhism? The debate holds a thread of fascination, much like the interplay of light and shadow on the snow. Imagine a winter evening, the campfires of a Mongol encampment casting halos into the night, while echoes of sacred chants rise and fall from jers. Spiritual leaders, adorned in robes that reflect the natural hues of ice and earth, stand at the focal point of this gathering, guiding the community through the practices that balance the cycle of life and death, warmth and cold. The strength of this spiritual connection, cultivated even in the starkest of winters, speaks to the depth of human nature to find light and meaning when days grow short and nights stretch long. In the shadow of mountains and the breadth of steppes, the resilience and grace of the Mongol spiritual practices form a vital thread in the woven fabric of their civilization. As your thoughts tread through the echoes of ancient beliefs, let the gentle lull of these ancient chants become a susurration that fills the soul with its quiet strength. Even in the silence of a snowbound landscape, the stories of spirituality hold warmth and light, whispering that in any winter, the promise of spring and with it, renewalis only ever a prayer away. Nestled in the sanctity of history's memory, may the serenity of Mongol spiritual harmonies carry you deeper into peaceful contemplation, warmed by the enduring spirits of the earth and the shared embrace of community. In the vast expanse of the Mongol Empire's history, the weather sometimes played a silent yet profound role in political machinations, a testament to how the elements could sway the fates of leaders and nations. Picture yourself standing on the threshold of a Mongol encampment, where the winter wind carries more than the chill of snow. It blows with whispers of intrigue and the potential for alliances forged or broken. Here, amidst the frost-kissed earth, weather was a variable as crucial to politics as the might of any horse or sword. Imagine the encampment clustered together like stars captured on the steppes, where decisions that could determine the empire's destiny were held against the backdrop of nature's whims. The air is thick with the aroma of heated debates, and the smoky scent of charred wood, a battleground as vibrant as any field. In these huddled groups, the leaders of one of history's greatest empires negotiated not just with people, but with the seasons themselves. A mainstream historical fact speaks to this intricate interplay. During both diplomatic exchanges and military campaigns, the Mongols understood and respected the influence of weather, often timing their strategies to harness the winds and employ the winter in their favor. This use of climate as a factor in strategic planning demonstrated not just tactical intelligence, but profound adaptability, nod to their origins as nomadic people attuned to the natural world. There exists a more peculiar side to this blending of politics and climate. The practice of gifting rare goods that defied the cold as symbols of power and diplomacy. A fur coat, no mere garment, but a token of warmth and status in the bone-rattling chill. Imagine receiving such an offering, unfurling the plush material to find it still carrying the scent of distant lands and potentially lucrative alliances. A tangible gesture of warmth amid an often frigid negotiation table. Historians still argue how deeply influenced the Mongol decisions were by environmental factors, suggesting a nuanced debate on whether climate served merely as context or an outright strategist. The lines between caution and opportunity, luck and planning, wavered like snowflakes in the wind, each season shaping the political landscape with its arrival. Within the nexus of diplomacy and nature, consider a winter assembly of Khans, gathered within a shield of warmth in council circles lined with carvings and symbols echoing back centuries. They convene in rich furs and woolen hats, the soft clatter of ceremonial cups punctuating their deliberations. Their dialogue is as much with the land as it is with each other, acknowledging the storm for its unpredictability, perhaps even imitating its forces in debate. Through the gentle sway of winter's breath, political nuances reveal themselves in silences and glances where waiting for the weather to turn could be as significant as turning a coat to the wind. Each flurry a calculation, each icy gust eliciting a careful weighing of the empire's fortunes. It's the choice to strike during a blizzard that might terrify the unprepared, or to pause until the elements temper, both holding their own kind of wisdom. Resting in the calm after the storm, you sense the subtle echoes of power plays played out not just in wood-paneled halls or tents bustling with decision-makers, but on open plains that witness the dance of strategy and climate. An emperor's voice, blending with the sigh of the wind, tells not just of conquest, but of a grateful, cautious, embrace the acknowledgement of an ally as powerful as any cavalry. And so, as the meeting of weather and diplomacy retreats into history's quiet narrative, let the underlying power of patience remind you of worn paths carved through snow and ambition. As the edicts fall like snowflakes on the steps of yesteryear, may you find your own haven amid nature's unpredictable sway, warmed by the lessons of harmony and timing encoded in the frozen breath of the past. Through the echoes of nature's alliance with politics, let these whispers cradle you into dreams of seasons yet unwritten, suspended within the serenity of a winter's night. Amid the frozen silence of the Mongolian plains, you immerse yourself in the stark reality of a winter siege, a theatre of war where the elements become as formidable as any battlement. The air is taut with tension, each breath a crystal cloud that silently rises into the cold sky. The siege is not a struggle of mere manpower and fortifications. It's a test against nature's relentless grip, where survival hangs in the balance for both the besiegers and the besieged. Picture the scene. The encampments girded by walls of snow-packed defences, lit by the flickering flame of watchfires, casting long shadows upon the frigid ground. Soldiers, wrapped tightly in layers of fur, remain vigilant, every creak of frostbitten wood and whisper of the wind adding to the symphony of apprehension. In siege warfare, patience and endurance become as critical as any weapon, a strategy as cold and calculated as the winter itself. An invaluable mainstream historical fact presents itself here. The Mongols, known for their adaptability, often laid siege even in the depths of winter, utilizing the season's harsh conditions to their strategic advantage. When rivers froze and supply lines became precarious for sedentary settlements, the Mongols remained unfaltering, adapting to and sometimes thriving in the cold environment. Their reputation as the quintessential winter warriors preceded them, a whisper of fear carried on the biting breeze. In the unforgiving tableau of these sieges, you will also uncover peculiar adaptations. The Mongols were known to employ frozen carcasses as fortified structures, placing them against the cold winds to create barriers within their camps. This grim practicality speaks to the resilience necessary in such conditions, transforming the bleak landscape into an unexpected resource, stark reminder of the price of survival amidst such adversity. Historians still ponder whether the Mongols' success in winter sieges lay in their sheer tenacity or a superior understanding of the very land upon which these dramas unfolded. The question circles like the snow, never quite settling, but suggesting that perhaps both elements swirled together in a dance of survival and conquest, as intertwined as the lives so governed by them. Imagine now the lives of those trapped within the siege, the besieged clinging to a flickering hope against the constricting chill of both their natural and human adversaries. Each crack and groan of the freezing fortifications feels like the heartbeat of the land itself, reminding them of the world outside, where freedom is but a tantalizing frost-edged horizon. In small corners of warmth, moments of humanity persist. Shared meals, quiet conversations, and the strengthening of bonds in the face of shared hardship. Within the walls, resources dwindle, and decision-makers deliberate over maps and plans etched with lines that match the frost upon the windows. Defense strategies are whispered in hushed tones, their echoes lingering like the last traces of warmth from a dying ember. The siege becomes a test, not just of endurance against an external foe, but of the ability to coexist and collaborate when the world draws in tight around you. In the layered silence that follows, both sides listen, as winter dictates terms in the universal language of cold. The snow becomes both adversary and ally, offering its own form of neutrality as it obscures movements, slows advances, and demands respect. Beneath the endless expanse of white, life endures quietly, patiently waiting for the thaw that shifts the balance once more. As you reflect on the trials of those entrenched in these stark confluences of nature and conflict, let the crispness of winter's chill cradle your thoughts. Take solace in the resilience of the human spirit that has persevered through history's deepest nights, facing each challenge with tenacity honed by the cold wind. May the distant murmur of the past, framed by the haunting embrace of a siege's wintry landscape, guide you into the warmth of reflection, a testament to the endurance found in the intersections of steel, snow, and silence. From this frozen tableau, let your thoughts drift gently into dreams, a quiet homage to courage, bounded only by the horizon. As the snow crunches beneath your feet, you delve into the intricate tapestry of the scientific knowledge and innovation that sustained the Mongols during their winter campaigns. It's a landscape where skillful adaptation to the cold was not merely an art form, but the backbone of their formidable success. Here, every frosted breath is a testament to the calculated decisions and informed ingenuity that defined their endurance under winter's relentless drape. Imagine the Mongol camps spread across the snowy expanse, each tent a hive of activity where practical knowledge and strategic prowess blend with a single, unyielding purpose: survival and conquest. Within these mobile cities, you hear the murmur of conversations discussing tactics not just of warfare, but of sustainability, how to outlast both enemy and winter. A mainstream historical fact captures the essence of this scientific acumen. The Mongols developed intricate supply chains that ensured their armies were well provisioned even in the harshest months. Utilizing relay stations, storage depots strategically placed along their routes allowed movement and campaigns to continue unfazed by the deep freeze. These logistics mirrored the precision of any military strategy, grounding their expansive reach in the feasibility of support systems woven into the harsh terrain. In the interplay of innovation, a quirky tidbit emerges regarding their legendary bows. Crafted meticulously from laminated wood, sinew, and animal horn, these bows were specifically designed to retain elasticity and power even in sub-zero temperatures. Picture a Mongol archer drawing back his bow in the midst of a snowstorm, a testament to craftsmanship that defies nature's attempts to still his hand. These carefully designed weapons spoke of an acute understanding of materials and the challenges posed by cold weather. Historians still argue about how much of the Mongol resilience was due to their cultural adaptability and how much was a result of keen observational insights into their environment. Was their technical prowess merely an extension of their lifeways, or a deliberate synthesis of scientific exploration and experiential wisdom? The question lingers like snowflakes drifting downwards, ethereal and elusive. Within these encampments, you find the Mongols tapping into the intimate knowledge of the land, compiling an unwritten manual of environmental adaptability. From the knowledge of terrain how to navigate frozen rivers and negotiate treacherous iceto, the development of ingenious scanners for finding water beneath layers of frost. The Mongol approach was a blend of observation and experimentation, a quiet curiosity that brought warmth even in winter's depths. Imagine the ingenuity of makeshift technologies, from the use of natural insulation in the form of snow-draped blankets to keepsake warmth inside gers, to the utilization of animal fats mixed with natural oils to maintain the pliability of leather and metal tools, a formula learned and crafted under the collective wisdom honed by each freezing generation. The campfire illuminates faces touched by the cold yet unyielding in spirit, each figure a silhouette against the vast white canvas, the flickering flames reflecting the flames of human innovation. As the frost settles around you, let your imagination drift into the pragmatic elegance that defined this historic narrative. The Mongols, scientists in their own right, navigated a world governed by unseen forces that demanded respect and knowledge a harmony as intricate as the finest silk and as powerful as the mightiest fortress. In the quiet echoes of this synergy between humanity and nature, where snowflakes are as much guides as obstacles embrace, the story of how wisdom accrues from interaction with the seasons. Let the whispers of practical genius embedded in the din of history wrap around you, allowing the chill of the winds to usher you back in time. Through the blending hues of science and strategy, find inspiration in the enduring balance that the Mongols achieved with the very ground beneath their feet, a balance that continues to ripple through the pathways of stories carried by the winds, leading you softly into the night's embrace. Let it be a reminder that in history, as in dreams, the greatest innovations are those that rise from the cold, much like a phoenix from the endless snow. In the heart of the winter's chill, you find yourself peering into the Mongols' arsenal, where unconventional thinking turned the cold into an unlikely accomplice. This is a place where tradition meets ingenuity, and where unusual tactics, devised amidst swirling snow, blur the boundary between genius and madness, a testament to how necessity can mother extraordinary invention. As the wind whispers through the frozen reeds, you glimpse the power of these bold strategies, each one a tribute to the audacity and adaptability that characterized Mongol warfare. Close your eyes and imagine standing alongside a group of Mongol commanders, their breath fogging the icy air as they strategize under a sky heavy with snow. The landscape around them is vast and blanketed in white, an open canvas calling for creative solutions. Here, in the frigid embrace of winter, traditional battle plans are rewritten to embrace surprise and stealth, leveraging the elements not just as obstacles but as allies. A mainstream historical fact about Mongol warfare sets the stage: a mastery of hit-and-run tactics, feigned retreats, and sudden surprise attacks. It's within these expertly executed maneuvers that winter truly becomes a player, enabling the Mongols to exploit the snow's concealment, move invisibly through blizzards, and appear as ghostly apparitions upon their unsuspecting foes. To their enemies, it must have felt as if the snow itself had turned traitor, hiding instead of hindering their adversaries. Amid these military feats, we find a rather unconventional practice: releasing livestock ahead of advancing troops to trample the snow and create paths. Imagine the spectacle: cattle and goats forging through drifts to break the frosty surface underfoot, the sound of their passage echoing not as chaos, but as calculated strategy. This tactic blurred lines of absurd and effective warfare, offering a ground advantage to horses and infantry by breaking the snow's grip. There remains scholarly debate on whether these tactics played a decisive role in their domination, or were simply a flamboyant display of mastery over lesser-used strategies. Historians toss around this question like a snowball, pondering the extent to which creativity versus military prowess decided the Mongols' fate. Was this an act of necessity, or simply the wild genius of commanders tasked with finding order in the storm? Imagine, too, the psychological warfare knitted into these tacit maneuvers, the cunning use of mirrors to reflect dazzling sunlit flashes into enemy eyes, or the seemingly supernatural ability to move silently upon the snow to amplify fear and uncertainty. The Mongols embraced every opportunity to inject unpredictability into combat, well aware that moments of chaos could turn the tide of battle faster than any blade. As strategists plot over maps, lines etched with frost beneath their fingers, every contour and shadow is scrutinized as potential opportunity. Their plans are like poetry scribed into snow, each verse twittering across blank steppes to bring stories of conquest back on the heels of whispers born upon winter's breath. While personal interaction with such unusual tactics fades from living memory, the legacy they carved remains a testament to the human thirst for victory over both rival tribes and the dawning challenges. In the hushed quiet that follows each bout of tactical genius, allow the innovative seeds of resourcefulness readying for growth inspire your own dormant imagination. For within winter's grasp, and each quirky maneuver lies a reminder that when faced with adversity, forging paths through the unexpected can turn even the fiercest foes into opportunity. As the snow falls gently around you, cloaking history in its muffled embrace, keep these stories close to kindle the warmth of your own creative fires. Through blizzards of strategy and amidst the serenity of bygone battles, let the ingenuity of both the mundane and the bizarre illuminate paths not yet tread, keeping you company as the long night unfolds its wintry tales into dreams where innovation lives silently beneath the snow. In the chill of the Mongolian winter, commerce itself faces not just the challenge of distance, but the challenge of a landscape draped in ice and snow. Imagine the scene. Vast caravans traversing frozen paths, their progress slow but deliberate, much like rivers of determination flowing through a land asleep beneath its frosty coverlet. Within this interplay of trade and weather, the notion of commerce freezes in time, demanding innovation and endurance from merchants who navigate these frigid routes. Sound surrounds you, the creak of wood under tension, the low murmur of camel drivers urging their beasts onward, the soft crunch of hooves breaking through the snow's icy crust. It's a symphony of resilience, a testament to the tenacity of those who refuse to let the cold deter their mercantile pursuits. Each movement becomes an act of defiance against the season, each step a whisper of perseverance through winter's hush. A mainstream historical fact shines within this snowy tableau. The Silk Road, integral to cross-continental trade, persisted even when fierce weather threatened to close passages. With the Mongols' protection and organization, the route remained a lifeline, facilitating an exchange of goods, ideas, and culture between East and West. This critical artery not only funneled commerce, but also warred against the clutch of winter's icy fingers. Amidst this struggle, there's a quirky tidbit: ice markets, where traders embraced the harsh climate by setting up stalls directly on frozen rivers. Picture goods displayed across crystalline surfaces, as though commerce itself was etched into nature's ice. These markets were fleeting yet vibrant havens of tradistations against cold impassibility, where merchants bartered not just wares but warmth and stories, leaving only memories behind as the ice eventually thawed. Historians continue to debate the precise impact of these winter-stalled trades on the overall economy of the regions connected by the Silk Road. Did these interruptions spur more localized trade routes, or did they foster a greater appreciation for the goods once they finally did arrive? The discussion mirrors the dance of commerce, pausing, adapting, and thriving against the odd-seat shift as nuanced as a snowflake's descent. Envision the faces of the traders, veiled against the biting wind as they conduct their business. Their eyes meet with mutual respect and shared challenge, surrounded by the merchandise that glistens starkly against the winter's white canvas. It's more than mere trade. It's an understanding of the shared struggle to bring the riches of the world to the people who value them as much as the precarious journey demands. In the lulls between deals, time slows. It's a moment to savor warmth by a small brazier, to enjoy a stolen smile, or to swap a tale with a fellow merchant. Winter, rather than being a mere adversary, becomes a participant in the dance of commerce, a fickle partner whose frozen embrace might delay traders but cannot deny the human spirit determined to outlast the cold. As the chill seeps into the heart of the trade route, let the pulse of timeless mercantile ambition echo through your reflection. This wintry pause serves as a reminder of the resilience inherent in humanity's drive to connect and exchange, encapsulated in every bartered item and every snow-dusted promise of return. Amidst the frost and the wares, may you find inspiration in the persistence echoing down the centuries, drifting soundlessly on the breeze like a trader's promise, carried home by the returning sun. Through the frost of frozen commerce and the warmth of human connection, allow the tales of these enduring traders to accompany you through the night, reminding you that sometimes it's not the destination but the journey through heart-rending chill that keeps the embers of trade forever glowing. As winter's stories wrap around you, let their echoes guide you into slumber, where the spirit of exchange weaves dreams amidst the hush of ancient silken roads wound through the snow. As the snow settles quietly on the sprawling steppes, you find yourself drawn into the nuanced dance of winter diplomacy and a Lion Caesar realm, where even the coldest winds could shift the balance of power. Beneath the pale glow of the winter sky, you envision the Mongol leaders crafting relations that were every bit as intricate as any tapestry. These were connections forged not only through strength and conquest, but through the delicate art of negotiation amidst harsh, unyielding climates. Picture the scene. Jers clustered together in a circle, their felt walls providing refuge from the bitter wind that howls outside. Within, the soft glow of candlelight illuminates a gathering of envoys and leaders, their voices a harmonious murmur rising with wisps of steam from cups of hot broth cradled in their hands. The air is thick with the scent of tea leaves brought from distant lands, a testament to relationships nurtured across boundaries, as vast and varied as the land itself. A mainstream historical fact highlights the strategic importance of diplomacy. The Mongol Empire, under leaders like Genghis Khan and Kublai Khan, often employed strategic marriages, alliances, and treaties to expand influence without the need for battle. These agreements were as vital to the expansion of the empire as any military campaign, providing stability and fostering goodwill across their vast territories, even when the lands were blanketed in ice. Among these diplomatic efforts arises a curious custom, the exchange of gifts, not just as tokens of goodwill, but as clever instruments of psychological insight. Imagine the careful selection of luxurious furs, rare spices, or exotic birdseed gift, a layered message appreciated in the chill of winter, a language of nuance shared between those who navigated the intricate dance of power. Historians still debate the extent to which these alliances were driven by genuine intent to integrate diverse peoples, or if they primarily served the empire's need for power consolidation. Perhaps the real strategy lay somewhere in between, mixture of expanding influence and pragmatism in addressing shared challenges. Each tally, much like each snowflake, leaves its own distinct mark within the history of Mongolian diplomacy. As you ponder the elegance of these interactions, picture the solemnity of agreements sealed before the warmth of a shared fire. These bonds were not etched on brittle snow, but secured through spoken vows and the trust that came with them. In the temporary sanctuaries woven from ice and negotiation, the whispers of promises made and kept resonate as richly as the warmth of molten metal in a forge. In these diplomatic assemblies, winter itself becomes a participant in the process, the cold encouraging honest cooperation, as survival often depended on mutual support against the relentless climate. The voices within those jers, though murmured with restraint, held mountains of power, not unlike the steady fortresses looming at the empire's cold borderlands. Imagine now the lasting aftermath of these gatherings, the pathways of peace carved through snow-laden regions, where gifts and promises function as bridges linking cultures separated by distance, yet bound by mutual aspirations. As bitumen-smeared boots trace paths upon packed snow, the legacy of diplomacy echoes through the calm stretched over endless fields of white. Let your thoughts, entwined with the stories of these alliances, carry you forward into night's embrace. In the midst of the quietude, find inspiration in the sagacity of leaders who understood that, though the world may lie dormant beneath a wintry veil, the warmth of trust and collaboration shines even through frost. Reflect upon these winter negotiations, where whispers of intention became the bonds that withstood the test of time. Let the calm simplicity of snow, punctuated by echoes of treaties past, guide you gently toward rest, weaving you into dreams of unity amidst the frost where historical alliances, both vast and intimate, endure beyond the coldest of seasons. With each breath of wisdom gathering from snow crystals glistening under moonlight, may you drift into gentle slumber, warmed by the quiet strength of human connection. In the quiet solitude of the Mongolian plains, you discover the quiet, unyielding siege that nature itself could lay upon human endeavor. Siege not of armies, but one orchestrated by the relentless forces of the natural world. Here, among the frost-tinged landscapes, the Mongols faced not just rival empires, but also the challenge of enduring the fierce grip of the elements. As the wind sweeps across the land, carrying whispers of the past, you hear the tales of survival and perseverance against nature's quiet, unwavering siege. Imagine the vast open spaces where the horizon stretches uninterrupted by man-made structures, each gust of icy wind a reminder of the omnipresent power of the natural world. It is here that the Mongols honed a resilience honed by centuries of living in close connection with the environmenta. Resilience that not only shaped their survival, but also their rise to power. The air is crisp and clear, each breath an invigorating reminder of what it means to exist in harmony with, and often in defiance of, nature's might. A mainstream historical fact roots this narrative. The Mongol Empire's successful expansion was heavily reliant on their unmatched ability to adapt to and utilize the environment. Their survival strategies were built upon an intimate knowledge of the land, weather patterns, and seasonal cycles. This adaptability was a silent force that allowed them to turn nature's siege into a strategic advantage, maneuvering through the landscape with the fluidity of a river across a frozen path. Within this tapestry of resilience lies a quirky tidbit of Mongolian ingenuity. The use of yurts, those round, felt, covered tents not just as portable homes, but as strategic tools. The design of yurts allowed for quick dismantling, relocation, and reassembly, reflection of the Mongols' adaptability and resourcefulness. These structures turned what could be a stationary defeat into a flexible retreat or repositioning during adverse conditions, enabling them to outpace adversaries or avoid the worst of the weather. Yet historians continue to ponder to what extent this symbiotic relationship with the land, born out of necessity, influenced their political and military successes. Did their knowledge of the environment provide them with an edge unmatched by rivals, or was it their indomitable spirit that pushed them forward when others faltered? The debate remains as layered and complex as the compacted snow upon which their horses galloped. Consider the camps of Mongol warriors, a community united not just by a leader, but also by a shared understanding of the land's language. Around crackling fires, they share stories of weather foreseen and challenges met, their faces aglow with the light of hard-won wisdom. It is within these tales that the timeless continuity of life under nature's siege weaves itself into the narrative fabric of the steppes. As you journey through this snowy expanse, feel the embrace of the natural world melding with human resilience. It's a testament not just to the Mongols' adaptability, but to an enduring, silent conversation between humanity and the element zone that plays out across every snow-covered plain and ice-clad valley. Even as the seasons wax and wane, this interplay between human endeavor and environmental might continues to etch itself into history's silent pages. Reflect on these scenes of endurance against nature's siege and let them inspire you. As you trace paths through imagination's snowy trails, understand not only the resilience needed to thrive against such odds, but also the respect that forges unity between people and the land they traverse. Let the calm dependability of nature's touch soothe your thoughts, each snowy breath a reminder of humanity's indomitable spirit. May these echoes of survival against nature's quiet siege cradle you as you drift towards sleep. In the snowy echoes of the past, take solace in the eternal cycle of triumph over adversity, the certainty that every dawn illuminates a new beginning. Within the serenity of the snow's embrace, envision a world woven from the strength of unity and the quiet perseverance of a spirit that never yields. Let this gentle, enduring lullaby of history carry you into the warmth of dreams untouched by winter's chill, where resilience becomes soft as snow and strong as steel. As you journey further through the Mongolian winter, you find yourself drawn along the icy passageways where culture flowed as freely as the rivers frozen beneath your feet. These routes, carved by the relentless march of trade and conquest, serve as conduits for cultural exchange that enriched the Mongolian way of life. Picture the snow-draped horizons stretching into eternity, each flake a tiny note in the symphony of connection that wove east to west and back again. Imagine the caravans, their movements orchestrated by a rhythm that pulses with the cadence of different cultures converging upon the same trail. The air is alive with the mingling of languages, the overlap of customs, and the sweet fragrance of exotic spices blending with the sharp chill of winter. These paths, alive with human traffic, become threads in a larger tapestry, weaving diversity into the fabric of Mongol society. A mainstream historical fact heralds this rich cultural fusion. The Mongol Empire, through its extensive network of trade routes, facilitated the exchange of knowledge, religion, art, and technology. Buddhist monks, Muslim scholars, and Christian missionaries all traversed these icy arteries, each adding their own stories to the empire's vast narrative. This cultural symbiosis allowed the Mongols to draw from a mosaic of traditions and ideas, strengthening their rule through understanding and acceptance of diversity. Within this melting pot of cultural convergence, a delightful tidbit shines: the dissemination of Mongolian cuisine laced with influences from afar. Picture, if you will, the melding of local ingredients with flavors and techniques imported from distant Landsnoodle dishes, originating from China becoming staples at Mongol feasts, spiced with whispers of Persia and seasoned with the tastes of India. Each meal becomes a culinary map, a celebration of the journeys and relationships developed across these snowy landscapes. Historians still debate whether the Mongolian embrace of cultural diversity was purely strategic or a genuine pursuit of knowledge and enrichment. Perhaps it was both a marriage of expediency and genuine curiosity, born from the challenges and opportunities of ruling vast, multicultural domains. Such debates mirror the dynamic snowfalls, ever shifting yet always leaving their mark. Picture now the marketplaces bustling with vibrant fabrics, warm furs from the north shared openly with silk from the south, and texts inked with foreign philosophies traded as freely as flour and grain. These gatherings around crackling fires and covered stalls create an atmospheric warmth that defies the demanding cold. It's as if the fabric of Mongol society is itself woven from the interactions of countless cultures, texturing the white expanse with splotches of color and life. The relationships formed upon these frozen highways are more enduring than the seasons, tales born in the interplay between snow and sunlight, shadow and warmth. These winter roads become living veins, connecting disparate lands, each step forward a soft tambourine echo of boots long past, each breath carrying notes of an ancient melody, yet sung by many voices. As you trace their paths through memory's snowy trails, let the lessons of cultural exchange warm you. Consider how the past's tangled threads extend into the present, forming a tradition of sharing and mutual inspiration, even amidst the stark silence of winter. Let the harmony found in this cultural confluence guide you into sleep, a testament to the enduring richness that arises from embracing diversity. May these tales of unity and diversity guide you into dreams of cross-cultural connections that defy boundaries and the frost of isolation. Within the serenity of history's gentle snowfall, find conductors of warmth who transformed both the Mongolian Empire and the broader world, where the light of shared knowledge becomes a beacon against winter's chill, warming the soul like a hearth on a frosty night. Drift into slumber, wrapped in this embrace of interconnected heritage, where every voice is as vital as the snowflakes that whisper the secrets of time. As the snow-draped horizon stretches infinitely before you, the legacy of Mongol endurance and adaptation becomes as vivid as the crystalline air around you. Through the relentless winter nights and across the icy expanses, a story unfolds, a narrative of resilience that defined not only an empire, but a way of life that continues to echo through the ages. Here, amidst the stark beauty of the Mongolian steppes, the spirit of survival remains an indelible mark upon the landscape. Imagine yourself standing at the heart of a winter camp, the chill in the air offset by the warmth of community and shared determination. The jers, silhouettes marked against the white backdrop, stand as testaments to ingenuity and resilience. Inside these sanctuaries, the glow of fires illuminates faces worn by winter's trials, yet alight with an unyielding spirit that broke boundaries and bridged worlds. A mainstream historical fact, highlights this indomitable resilience. The Mongol Empire, despite the challenges and adversities imposed by harsh climates and rugged terrains, achieved unparalleled expansion and dominance. This triumph was not due solely to military might, but was deeply interwoven with a profound understanding of adaptation, embracing innovations, strategies, and wisdoms derived from the myriad cultures they encountered and absorbed. Within this context of enduring legacy, a curious tidbit illustrates their adaptability, the practice of integrating environmental cues into their societal and military plans. The Mongols famously used nature's signs, whether the behavior of animals or the patterns of the wind, to make decisions. A natural intuition turned strategic insight that blended seamlessly into their worldview. Such practices underscore the intricate bond between the Mongols and the land they called home. Historians continue to debate whether this legacy of endurance was purely pragmatic or a culturally cultivated trait inherent in their nomadic lifestyle. Did necessity force them to innovate, or was it an inherent curiosity and willingness to learn from both allies and adversaries? It is a question as multifaceted as the frost patterns that decorate a winter window. Picture yourself now in a gathering within the heart of the encampment, where stories and wisdom of past triumphs and setbacks are shared and celebrated. Within this circle, a sense of tradition pulses like a heartbeat, each tale reinforcing the rich tapestry of resilience that weaves through the annals of Mongolian history. It is here, under the blanket of stars that glisten with cold clarity, that the collective memory of endurance becomes a guiding light for future generations. Contemplate the intricate dance between nature and humanity, where each adaptation and victory against the elements became a cornerstone for future strategies and paths. These lessons, hard-earned and meticulously passed down, continue to serve as parables of overcoming odds, narratives painting the frozen lands with hues of perseverance and strength. As you wrap yourself in the echoes of this legacy, take comfort in the knowledge that even the harshest conditions can nurture the spirit's growth and humanity's progress. The enduring influence of Mongol adaptation rests not just in historical records, but within the quietly spoken stories that transform challenges into opportunities. So, as you journey through the snowy corridors of the past and into the warmth of your own dreams, let the tenacity of the Mongols inspire you. In the midst of winter's hushed serenade, embrace the resilience that has stood tall against the passage of time. May these lessons of strength guide you into a gentle sleep, where the whispers of history remind you that perseverance, like the warm furs of a Mongol warrior, envelops and guards against the frost. May you find rest in the heart of this legacy, where human spirit shines unyieldingly against the backdrop of nature's boundless power. Breathe deeply into the solace of winter's embrace, where each exhale etches another chapter in the snow, a testament to the resilience that beats silently beneath your dream-san empire, of endurance flourishing quietly through the stillness of the night. As the narrative unfolds across the snow-laden steppes, the grandeur of the Mongol Empire intertwines with an essential truth about the enduring relationship between humans and nature. Within this convergence lies a reflection on mankind's place amidst the relentless force of the elements, a union as delicate as the snowflakes that now dissolve into the earth. Conjure images of vast landscapes where the natural world asserts its dominance, cradling the empire's history within its icy grasp. Stand at the edge of a frozen river, where the icebound water reflects the shifting light of a pale winter sun. This majestic sphere, draped in webs of frost, becomes a mirror for contemplation, mirroring how the ever-shifting rhythm of nature can dictate human fortunes. For the Mongols, whose lives were a symphony composed of seasons and land, the intimate understanding of nature's cycles was both a challenge to their power and a testament to their adaptability. Within this reflection lies a mainstream historical fact. The Mongols consciously integrated the forces of nature into their worldview, recognizing the profound weight it held over their existence. This acknowledgement of nature's power translated into religious observances, strategies tailored to environmental conditions, and societal norms that respected the delicate balance between expansion and sustainability. An insightful tidbit adds texture to this relationship: the custom of rather poetically naming significant snowstorms, Each extreme weather event carried its own narrative within Mongol society, receiving a descriptor based on its pattern of arrival or its impact. Through personifying the elements, the Mongols enacted rituals that wove these phenomena into their story, attributing identity and intention to natural forces. Historians continue to ponder whether this reverence for the environment was solely practical or also a philosophical stance arising from the spiritual values deeply entrenched in their society. Did the habitual recognition of nature's whims shape their governance and societal decisions, or was it an existential acknowledgement of a shared universe? These questions echo softly, like winds brushing against distant peaks, resisting any single definitive resting place. In the historical narrative, picture the Mongol leaders gathered under star-pricked skies, watching patterns of cloud and snowfall, contemplating the implications for their campaigns and communities. The sky, adorned with its celestial parchment, offered a canvas upon which the elements inked prophecies in the swirl of snowflakes and arcs of light. This deep-seated connection underscored the perceptual acuity with which they navigated their world, balancing ambition and conquest with a wisdom rooted in elemental realities. Within this framework, nature's power becomes both foil and muse, shaping destiny and coupling instinctive respect with overarching strategy. Reflect on their quiet wisdom and legacy, inscribed not just in battle tactics or architectural marvels, but in the reverent relationship established with a world as volatile as it is beautiful. Through understanding and responding to nature's cues, they created an indelible harmony that remains as profound as the freshly fallen snow blanketing the fields. As you linger on these teachings, the serenity of the scene draws you inward, inviting you to contemplate your connection to the world around you. The Mongol narrative becomes a reminder that adaptability and humility are essential companions on the human journey, particularly when traversing the shared path with nature's indomitable presence. Allow this understanding to seep quietly into your being, a gentle reminder that life, much like the shifting seasons, is meant to be experienced and respected in its myriad forms. Let the dusky shadows of history cradle your thoughts as you drift into a peaceful slumber, cocooned in the wisdom of a people whose dance with nature remains etched into the very core of who we are. May your dreams continue the gentle exploration of reconciling humanity within the wider embrace of the natural world, where each whispered change in the wind becomes a lesson waiting to be heard. Sleep now, with the echoes of past wisdom wrapping you in a solace as smooth as the unbroken mantle of new snow, sheltering dreams that explore the rich terrain of balance, vision, and timeless wonder. As the final chapter of this snow-laden journey unfolds, a gentle tranquility envelops the landscape, where the echoes of the Mongol Empire's resilience and ingenuity resonate softly beneath the watchful night sky. The tales of endurance and ingenuity cradle you with a sense of closure, a serene wind-down blending the reality of the past with the poetry of winter's embrace. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a sprawling, frost-covered panorama, where each snowflake glistens under the moonlight like scattered stars collapsed from the sheet of sky. The Empire's legacy stretches out before you, an uninterrupted blanket that conceals stories of conquest, cultural syncretism, and deep-rooted connections with nature, all delicately stitched into the fabric of time. Here, the wintry silence carries the faintest murmurs of past vitality, the rhythmic beat of horse hooves tempered by snow, the distant echo of military commands dissipating into the ether, the soft laughter and conversations shared over meager winter fires. These sounds have swirled together with the snowfall and now settle quietly, leaving a lasting impression in this moment of reflection. In the stillness, a mainstream historical fact lingers gently. The vastness of the Mongol Empire and the dynamic movement of people, goods, and ideas that it enabled forever altered the course of history. This unprecedented expansion wasn't merely a tale of military success, it was a symphony composed of diverse influences that continue to resonate into the modern era, shaping cultures and societies across continents. Within this tranquil scene, we find a final, light-hearted tidbit, a reminder of the quirky resilience that defined these frozen tales. Mongolian throat singing, or kuomiai, a traditional art form that resonates over the open steppes. Its sounds, both haunting and harmonious, embody the spirit of the vast landscape itself. Imagine the soothing notes rising, mimicking the wind as it weaves a meditative melody across the glacial plains, carrying with it ancestral memories and quiet comfort. Historians still debate whether the enduring connection between the Mongols and their natural environment was simply born of necessity, or if it rooted a deeper spiritual perception into their very identity. Yet, as layers of scholarly discussion gather like snowflakes on an untouched field, the wider truth becomes clear. The Mongols remain a testament to the inherent power of adaptation and the beauty found in the struggle against and harmony with the untamed world. As this historical panorama draws to a gentle close, allow the soothing rhythm of these stories to guide you into the comfort of rest. Lean into the shadows cast by the gentle moonlight, gliding across centuries, embracing the quiet triumphs and shared laughter of those who left such an indelible mark on both land and lore. In this embracing stillness, let the warmth of understanding cocoon you, reassuringly soft as layers of fur wrapped against the frost. May your thoughts, cradled by the wisdom drawn from this journey, drift peacefully into sleeper, tranquil testament to the enduring world of dreams whispered across the steppes. As you relax into this comforting blanket of time-honored tales, remember that the journey doesn't end here. It lives on through the stories and lessons that you carry forward, resilience, connection, and harmony woven into the tapestry of human experience. With each tender breath, let the gentle embrace of the past carry you into a restful night, where dreams unfurl with the gentle softness of falling snow. Sweet dreams.